Hey everyone, and welcome back to Remember This Tech. I got a new PC, well, an old PC behind me. Doesn't come with a case cover. I booted it up to make sure it worked, and so far I got into the BIOS. It's an AMD Athlon Thoroughbred 800 megahertz CPU. Now back in the day, that was a pretty decent CPU, and it went head to toe with the Intel Pentium 3s in most cases. And depends on what you're playing or doing. Sometimes one topped out of over the other. Pentium 3, Athlon, and that's where the race kind of really took off. For this build, I'm gonna throw in Sound Blaster Auto G2 sound card. I'm going to throw in a 80 gig SATA drive with an IDE adapter. This board only has IDE ports, 2 PS2, it has 2 USB on the back, 1.0 probably, and it has and to go with this system, it does have an AGP 4X slot, but so we're gonna set up a PCI card, brand new Sparkle, 210. It's an NV210 card, NVIDIA, and it has 512 meg of GDR RAM, and it is a PCI card. So yeah, it's not the most powerful card in the world, but for PCI it's probably going to saturate that bus, hopefully. And it's brand new, old new stock, and the reason why is because, well, the board I have now for my Pentium 3 is pretty much not working. So the board I'm planning on getting probably will only have PCI, so we want to keep an even playing field. 2400 Pro ATI. It's 256 meg. We're also going to use Windows XP on this system for the tests. We're going to see how this AMD Athlon Thoroughbred fares on Windows XP. Come on, let's go! We are in the BIOS. Take a look at the front of the machine. Looks kind of old school, right? Super yellow. But it's got the DVD, creative DVD player, and it's got the Yamaha CD burner. As you can see, we've got the 800 megahertz processor, and I'm just have 196 meg of memory currently. I'm waiting for my other 512 stick, but for now we're gonna go in the BIOS since I got a new battery in there and check out a few things. Well, let's go ahead and set the time, and I'll zoom through this and I'll get to only the good parts. Sees the drive, and it's not set up as master, so I'm gonna have to fix that because these old systems had jumpers to set the system as primary, and I need to configure that more than likely. There's mild settings you can set for the performance settings. Voltage core, you can tweak it so you can do mild overclock, which I might check later. 4X AGP, it's the best this board has. Serial ports, parallel ports. It has a audio, but we have the Sound Blaster Auto G in there. So the CPU temp set, wow, it's a whacked out whatever that's doing. It's not really, is it 25C? It says negative 25C, that's weird, right? So we're gonna set the boot options to the CD-ROM. I want to move that up. We don't really want a floppy here. I mean, but that's what we have, so let's go with that. And we're going to test and see if this boots off the CD-ROM drive. Thing's spinning up though. Seems to be booting on Windows XP. I swapped out the drive because both of the ones that were in the system apparently don't work or need a thoroughly deep cleaning, and I had an old CD-ROM drive for IDE and I put that in there, and we're going to try to install Windows XP now, everyone. Got the system installed with XP Pro, and I'm not going to lie, I thought, well, it's only got 196 meg of RAM right now until I get the other 512 stick, and I just wanted to give a brief interlude, a brief update. You know, the system's pretty snappy. I'm installing drivers, and I'm like, if this was Windows, 7 or 10, it would just be like bogged down like nuts. So I'm copying over files to update it since it doesn't have a network card and I gotta get one. Many problems, I don't know where I put the PCI NIC, who knows. Anyways, so I'm copying over programs, and I've noticed that the 1.0 USB ports on this board are slow. It's like I probably would be better off copying from a CD-ROM drive, but then another problem you run into is like you gotta burn a CD-ROM drive. So the limited CD-ROM drive, discs, the writables that I have, I'm running low. Old stuff, So if you look here, the CPU usage, it's just just going between 10 and 20% barely. It's using like 95 meg of RAM, and it's got like available 90 meg left, so it's not really going nuts with XP Pro. The system was pretty efficient back then because the system basic requirements to install XP was only 233 megahertz processor speed, and I think was it 64 meg of RAM. So I've got more than that, but so far it's snappy. Just wanted to give you that update, but so far so good. I forgot how snappy these older P3 or Athlon Thunderbird systems were back then. When those chips came out, they were really fast, and they in some cases destroyed the Pentium 4 at higher clock speeds, because as you all know, the Pentium 4 was kind of a dog, and the only way it could perform well was to increase those top end speeds to 3 gigahertz and beyond. Hence why Intel took their Pentium 3 architecture and built upon that, and that's how they went forward with their chips from there, and when they finally decided to dump the space heater that was the Pentium 4. And hopefully I can get the drivers installed for the graphics card, because as of right now, the system capture card is capturing with the green screen, which 9 times out of 10 it's a graphics driver translation problem. So, be right back. See if any of these will actually install, and doesn't like it. Doesn't like it at all. And that doesn't like it either. And Passmark 8. Oh yes, Passmark 8, thank you. We're in the Mesozoic era now. Yay! Doesn't mean it's gonna work. And this is another thing you go through. What do you got? You got 3 versions that are supposed to work with Windows XP. Do they work? Not all of them. That's why you need 3 or 4 different versions of software and drivers, and then you install, and then you go through and do it from there. Alright, performance test. We're going to try this. So this is like one of the first versions of Passmark. Well, at least this is Passmark, one of the oldest ones for XP. So if you haven't seen it before, you're going to see it today. Remember this tech. As you see here, it's 64K, 64K L1, 256K L2, and that's pretty much what the Athlons had. Alright, tests. Run all tests. Alright, we're going to get a real benchmark here for our really Mesozoic period PC. Stand by to stand by. Okay, now that this Passmark test, Performance Mark 8, is done, and I smell burning in the air because it probably toasted my system, I don't have a reference point to, like, you know, guide me from this. It says 91.6 performance rating. It's per partial, okay? But what does that mean? And why does it say 29 something? I don't know. Okay, so let's look at the summary. Do we have my system? This computer, yeah, 91.6. Wow, that's pretty horrible. But you're comparing the system to like a GTX 980, okay? I don't have a basis for this. It's not a comparable result. It doesn't even register for the CPU mark. 2D graphics, okay. Okay, you got abysmal remark, or 3D, what got nothing. Memory mark, 80, disk mark. The disk mark is this. I've got an 80 gig SATA drive on an IDE adapter, okay? It's gonna be topped out at whatever it has. This game here is a game I have not played in almost 20 years. Well, probably 15 years, but the game was awesome at the time. It's hopefully still awesome now. And what is it? It is a Warcraft battle chest and the Frozen Throne as well. Like a 2D top-down game. And basically, I bought that disc and the keys. See if I can get it to play. And it just crashed. You know what the heck's going on? Hey everyone, welcome to my show today. And then I show you this. Blank screen. This is pretty cool, right? No, it's not cool. Alright everyone, this is Warcraft 3, the Frozen Throne and Battle Chest. Basically this is an awesome game back in the day, and we're playing it on the Athlon 800 CPU. Capture's not working, I'm getting green screen, so we're reverting back to our camera setup here. Honestly, you know, this game was awesome back in the day, and I bought the disc just for this video. I kind of wanted to like play the orcs, but I guess I have to select it. Instead of being rando, I need to select it. Duh. Ah! No, the orcs! They're coming to eat us all! Oh wait, this is more my speed. Like... Yes. Heyday. This is more my speed. I mean, I know how to play the orcs and humans, but those ghouls are from the Frozen Throne, I guess. They're different, and I have not played that. But plenty of FPS on this game. Pulls 654 mega RAM. But excellent. Got these guys rolling. It's kind of funny playing these old games on a 42-inch HD TV, but hey, seems to be working pretty good, eh? So yeah, a lot of this is just like progression, like StarCraft, you know, get your stuff going, get it in the right order, otherwise somebody will steamroll you if they set things up faster. Let's get the next game out and try this game. This game is called Wizardry 8. Sometimes old games are fun. Wizardry 8 has an auto detect feature for your settings. I wonder what low Mesozoic settings are going to select. It says 640 by 480. Oh my gosh. Well, at least it lets me choose DirectX 7. We want 1024 by 768, thank you. That's scary. Okay, that's a pretty crappy cinematic.
The Cosmic Lords crafted 3 artifacts. First was the Astral Dominate, planet Dominus, and placed it next to the Cosmic Circle. When the work...
That's great. So, as you see, you can select 5 million different types of characters. I mean, literally, you can do these. I think they're pre-made characters here. And, well, first of all, you're going to need a tank, you're going to need a healer, and probably an archer, and, I don't know, a thief. I've always tried to go with a mage, but it never works out. They're so squishy, they just die. So if I wanted to create a character and I wanted to be a fighter, yeah, so, and then you can choose your race. Each one confers different bonuses. Humans, a generic one, you know. So, and then you can choose your bonus points and roll them. Apparently you start off, you wash up on shore, you gotta get some stuff and kind of go through like some tunnels and stuff.
It's going to be a long trip.
Now, alright, so alright, so if you go to inventory, it's normal, you know, got stuff. Here's your stuff here, potions. There are your party items and carried items. Hardly any anything in the beginning, you're basically screwed. You'll need a stamina potion. Alright, so what if we can even run FPS? No, I won't even run the let's see what happens. Wow, they hit something. Amazing. I always should have like 2 ranged characters in your party. At least you get a couple hits off, right? I only have 1 healer, but in the I guess, you know, either love the Wizardry series games or you hate them. I played a couple of them and they're pretty good. The more heroes you have in your party, the more the experience gets distributed and you get less XP.
I saw something moving over there.
Great.
Who's there? Be careful. Don't do anything stupid.
Wow, didn't even kill him? That's a lot of damage that crab just took. They must be really high levels. I guess I'm gonna die. He just died. Alright, well, just die, okay? We can play it on the 800 megahertz Athlon, so it's pretty good. And up at the top of the thing, past the crabs, loot! This makes it all worthwhile.
See something?
Loot! In the beginning of the game, it's really worth a lot to get any loot you can, because you guys have nothing. So you have to save and gain your health by camping and your magic back. But there you go. Alright, a perfectly playable old game. I think I might have got it when it's a driver force back to a 260 version, which is old, but the newer 340 NVIDIA drivers weren't working.
Welcome to duty.
So we're going to try, let's see if we can stop this capture. Alright, we're going to go into just a bot match, you know what I'm saying? And let's try this one. Alright, so we're going to play single player, and we're going to be at It says 800 by 600. That's the lowest it can go, so we're going to stick with that with all low settings. And because we didn't choose any settings. And go back to single player and see if we can start the server on this 800 megahertz Athlon processor. Now, I tried to play this as a test before I can get the capture to work using the 2400 Pro ATI Radeon 256 meg card. Now this NVIDIA Geforce 210 512 meg PCI card, not PCI Express, PCI. This card may do alright. So far I think it's doing a lot better than the old 2400 Pro AGP was. Will it be limited by the bandwidth of the PCI bus? I don't know. But let's fast forward because the load times are pretty long because we have an 800 megahertz processor. Point and start the capture. Alright, we're doing marginally better.
Hey, I need a ride.
We're doing a lot better with the Geforce 210. Because before, it was just a slideshow. Now, at least I'm able to play. Sort of. I'm not really playing, I'm just driving around. The FPS is pretty abysmal, but you know. What am I gonna do? Hang out and just hit people? Like that? Probably, I mean, why not? Oh no. Oh wow, somebody shot me, killed me. This Geforce 210 is almost making this game playable. Alright, we're going in on first person. This is a bit laggier, I don't know any way to, like, you know, fix it. You can't go any slower. Oh man, it's so much laggier on foot. Why? Why is it? This game is not meant to be played on this system. But I'm playing it, I'm trying it, I'm trying my best. I'm just gonna die horribly 50,000 times. I thought that shrub was a guy, that's how bad the graphics are. Like, I see a tank there and the guy took it. Like, if I could get it, that'd be great. Alright, yeah, I won't bother playing too much more of this slideshow. If I could freaking get some FPS, I would be able to play this game. Wow. Alright. Guess what? That game's done. Unreal Tournament 2004 on the 800 megahertz Athlon. Alright, it's time to play. Got the 2400 Radeon. Yeah, that gun, the chain gun, was not good. Oh, we're getting like 40 FPS, 50 sometimes with this 2400 Pro. I really can't play very well. I keep hitting the darn button. I mean, the Geforce 210 wouldn't play this game. I hate the chain gun. Keep hitting these buttons. Hate the chain gun. Do not pick that chain gun up. I think it'd be funner if there was more than one block, and I probably need to set that, but this is at a decent resolution. My next attempt at pain with this 800 megahertz Athlon computer is to play Company of Heroes. It's woefully inadequate as far as the processor goes, and that's the result. That is the result. I think it just says that basically we hate you and your processor sucks, so we're not letting you play. So Company of Heroes, the original one, even though you could install it, you can't play it. Alright, we're trying to get HalfLife going again, the original one.
Good morning, Gordon.
I like how it just like lets you do whatever, go wherever. There's no map, there's nothing. You just gotta figure it out on your own. It's pretty interesting, yeah.
I'm afraid we'll be deviating a bit from standard analysis procedures today, Gordon.
Yes, but with good reason. This is a rare opportunity for us. This is the purest sample we've seen yet.
And potentially the most unstable.
Now, if you follow standard insertion procedures, everything will be fine. And hold it there until the carrier arrives.
So, my final thoughts on this Athlon 800 MHz Thunderbird processor, step back in time. Well, when first building the Windows XP system with only 192 meg, the system was pretty snappy and it was kind of impressive. But as I started to go along and add more programs and more demanding games, the system really started to show its age. Now originally I wanted to compare this system with an equivalent Pentium 3 800 MHz system, but the video got a little bit too long. So I'm planning to make a separate video reviewing just that processor and testing some of the same games and benchmarking that processor in a future video. So if you haven't subscribed, you're not going to want to miss that video, so subscribe and hit that like button. I had a bit of a struggle trying to get the Geforce drivers to work with the 210 PCI card, and ultimately I had to scale back to an old version, a 260 driver pack, to get that to work properly. I guess I was expecting a little bit better results from this system, so when I get down into the Pentium 3, I'll really find out what's going on there. So thanks for coming along on this video. I took a step back in time to review this Athlon CPU. And thanks for watching. Remember this tech.